problem solving for our teams, for our organizations. When we want to empower our teams to be problem solvers, that doesn't mean we abdicate our responsibility as leaders to help shape problem solving. We actually help them and help empower them through effective direction and delegation. That's key components to empowerment, so that teams are free to work, but within the right structure, within the right rules, and in the right direction. And that is our role of a leader, is to allow that to happen, to provide that for our teams. So a few things to think about as we think about shaping problem solving. For starters, I think it's important to use the right terminology and to be okay calling a Band-Aid a Band-Aid. When are we just getting through the symptom? Not everything is true problem solving. If our computer locks up, we might reset the computer, turn it off and turn it back on again. Do we know the cause? Not really. Do we spend any time analyzing it? Well, if it comes back and it's working, typically we just move on with our lives. That's okay, right? We do that all day long. We have to do that. There's too many things that could go wrong that we don't have time to turn everything into some kind of formal problem-solving process. So call a Band-Aid a Band-Aid. Understand at what level are we actually trying to solve a problem. There's a tool called the three-legged 5 whys, and for those that are into problem solving as a set of tools and techniques, 5 whys is about continually asking why, to dig deeper and deeper to find true causes. Well, a three-legged 5 why is to look at different types of causes, because problems show up in different ways. Sometimes we might only want to work on one of those 3 legs. Well, one of the legs is to solve that occurrence. That one occurrence of that problem, why did that occur? And let's solve that instance, that occurrence of that problem. That's one leg. And we might only do that and then move on to something else. We also want to solve, why didn't we detect the problem? Why did the problem go on undetected too long or carry on into the next process? And so we may not even solve the occurrence, but we might solve the detection and understand why did we not know this problem occurred as it did. And then the third leg, which is often what people think of when they think about structured problem solving, is the systemic cause. What are we doing to find the systemic cause behind that problem? Now, in problem solving, there's times where we might only solve one of those legs. We might need to solve all 3. And that's part of our job as a leader, is to help provide that right direction. Where do we want to go with this particular problem? When are we just solving a symptom? And when are we truly solving the problem? And how do we make that decision? Now, in shaping problem solving, there's actually shaping the problem solving effort itself. We basically want to provide the box in which a team is then empowered to act and move forward and learn. We don't want to second guess it. In fact, the true sign of failure for ourselves as leaders is when a team gets to the end of their problem solving and then we provide new direction, new insight, new questions that force them to go back. That's usually not coaching. That's usually doing a poor job up front in shaping the problem in the first place. Now, there's 3 key ingredients to that shaping of the problem solving. First is the start line, or the front door of problem solving, and that's making sure we have the problem statement right. What is the gap that we are trying to close? Now, that gap and that problem statement might go through some iteration, and that's okay, but we want to make sure that we are aligned with the team on what problem they're trying to solve. I worked with one particular team that was really frustrated that their leader didn't agree with their solution. And after we went through their problem-solving effort, we found that they did a fantastic job. The real gap was that they weren't aligned with the leader that the problem statement was in fact a problem. Well, of course the leader's not going to agree to the solution if they don't even agree that the gap is a problem. So we need to make sure that that starting line, that front door to problem solving, there's alignment around that. We also need to provide the guardrails. These are the boundary conditions. This is how to sort of stay in your lane, what to not consider or where to not explore. If we're not going to replace our software system or go challenge our customer, or go retool the team, well, then those are off limits. Those are our boundary conditions. Don't go and explore those areas. Stay within the scope. And so don't waste the team's time by allowing them to explore things that you have no intention of allowing them to do. So give them good boundary conditions so that they can stay in their lane. And you have to declare the finish line. Now that's not just around the problem statement and what success looks like, but also what are the conditions of satisfaction? What must be true for us to be satisfied? This could be anything from you have to make sure that this person has been brought along and is involved in a solution, that they accept it, that they buy off, or that we fully tested it, or that even the time frame. I might care more about a 30% solution in 2 weeks than a 100% solution in 6 months. What must be true at the finish line for me to have been satisfied? And so these 3 elements help create the box in which the team is now empowered to go forward with their problem-solving effort and have success. The other way in which we help shape the problem-solving effort is to help build organizational bridges where they need to be. Our teams, we might depend sometimes on the behavior and the culture of collaboration to work across organizational boundaries, but that doesn't always happen naturally, and that culture might not be there yet in all teams. If I need support, whether it's IT support or finance support in the problem-solving effort, or collaborative efforts across organizational boundaries in order to determine a solution, well then sometimes as a leader it's my job to help create that connection, to help build that bridge across the organizational boundary and ensure that my team has access to the right resources and the right engagement from others in the organization. Don't just send them off into the wild and hope that they're successful in building that bridge. That's my job as a leader, to build that bridge for them so that they can then focus on problem solving. So our job as a leader is to provide our teams those right conditions so that we are empowering them, again, not through advocation, but through direction, through effective delegation, and giving them the right structures so that they are empowered for problem-solving success.